The power of a single battle. History is often decided not by kings and emperors, but by the clash of swords on the battlefield. A single battle can change the fate of nations, shape entire civilizations, and rewrite the future. Tonight, we step back in time to witness the 10 battles that changed the world forever. The weight of destiny. From the open plains of Greece to the heart of the Roman Empire, wars have defined the rise and fall of empires. In each of these moments, warriors stood on the edge of history, knowing that the outcome of a single day could decide the fate of millions. Some fought for survival, others for conquest, but all of them shaped the world we live in today. The Battle of Marathon, 490 BC, a race against time. The mighty Persian Empire, vast and seemingly unstoppable, sent its armies to crush the small city-state of Athens. Outnumbered, the Athenian hoplites charged across the battlefield in a desperate gamble, colliding with Persian forces near the shores of Marathon. Against all odds, they won, securing the survival of Greek democracy and setting the foundations for Western civilization. The legacy of Marathon. A lone runner, Pheidippides, sprinted 26 miles back to Athens to deliver the news of victory, the inspiration for the modern marathon. The Persian Empire would return, but this battle proved that even a smaller, determined force could defy the greatest power on Earth. The concept of freedom and self-rule, championed by the Greeks, might have died on that battlefield had they failed. The Battle of Gaugamela, 331 BC, the birth of an empire. On a dusty field in Mesopotamia, Alexander the Great, outnumbered but brilliant, faced Darius III and the vast Persian army. Instead of brute force, Alexander used cunning, exploiting gaps in the Persian lines and breaking through their formations. Darius fled, and with his empire crumbling, Alexander became the master of the known world. The spread of Greek culture. This victory didn't just mark the fall of Persia. It was the dawn of a new era, the Hellenistic Age. Greek language, philosophy, and art would spread from Egypt to India, shaping everything from Roman law to modern democracy. One battlefield, one brilliant strategy, and the world would never be the same again. The Battle of Cannae, 216 BC, Rome's darkest hour. The Roman Republic, the mightiest power of the Mediterranean, met its match in Hannibal, a Carthaginian general who led his army through the Alps. On the open plains of Cannae, he lured the Romans into a trap, surrounding and annihilating their legions in one of the most brilliant tactical victories in history. The fields were soaked with blood, and Rome teetered on the brink of collapse. Rome's unbreakable spirit. Yet, even after losing 50,000 men in a single day, Rome refused to surrender. They adapted, changed tactics, and over a decade of relentless warfare, defeated Hannibal, proving that their will was stronger than any loss. This resilience would define the Roman Republic, setting them on a path to becoming an empire. The Battle of Actium, 31 BC, the birth of the Roman Empire. Two great forces met on the seas. Octavian, the adopted son of Julius Caesar, against Mark Antony and Cleopatra. It was not just a battle for power, but for the future of Rome. As Antony's ships burned and scattered, his dreams crumbled, and Rome transformed from a republic into an empire. The age of Augustus Octavian, now Augustus, became Rome's first emperor, ushering in the Pax Romana, a period of relative peace and prosperity. Rome's laws, culture, and roads would extend from Britain to Egypt, forming the foundation of the Western world. The echoes of Actium still resonate in every government, law system, and military doctrine today. The Battle of Alesia, 52 BC, Caesar's greatest triumph. Julius Caesar faced Vercingetorix, the defiant leader of the Gauls, in a siege that would decide the fate of France. Surrounded and outnumbered, Caesar built two massive walls, one to trap the Gauls inside and another to keep reinforcements out. After weeks of starvation, the Gauls surrendered, and Rome cemented its control over Western Europe. The expansion of Rome. With Gaul conquered, Rome secured new riches, new soldiers, and new lands, but the cost was high. Caesar's growing power alarmed the Roman Senate, setting in motion the events that would lead to his assassination and the fall of the Republic. Alesia was more than a victory. It was the final step towards Caesar's rise and Rome's transformation. The Battle of Hastings, 1066 AD, a New England. On the shores of England, William the Conqueror's Norman knights clashed with the Saxon army of King Harold. As the battle raged, Harold fell to an arrow, and England was forever changed. The Norman conquest reshaped the language, laws, and identity of England, creating the world we recognize today. The lessons of history. Each battle is a reminder that history is shaped by those willing to fight for it. Some wars brought progress, others destruction, but all left behind lessons that still echo through time. We walk through the ruins of past battles without even realizing we are living in their shadows. The endless march of history. Empires rise and empires fall, but the legacy of these battles endures. The fate of civilizations has always been decided on the battlefield, and perhaps it always will be. The question is, what battles still remain to be fought? The Battle of Adrianople, 378 AD, the fall of Roman invincibility. For centuries, the Roman legions had been the undisputed masters of warfare, but at Adrianople, their arrogance cost them dearly. The Visigoths, mistreated and desperate, turned against Rome, luring the empire's forces into a deadly trap. As flames engulfed the battlefield and arrows darkened the sky, Emperor Valens fell, never to be seen again. This battle shattered the myth of Rome's invincibility, marking the beginning of the empire's decline, the Gothic threat, and Rome's slow collapse. The Visigoths, once mere refugees within Roman borders, proved that Rome was no longer untouchable. Their victory at Adrianople gave way to more invasions, more betrayals, and a slow but inevitable unraveling of Roman control. Rome would never fully recover. Within a century, barbarian tribes would tear the empire apart. The Battle of Adrianople wasn't just a defeat, it was a warning of the doom to come. The Battle of Tours, 732 AD, saving Europe from conquest. The rolling hills of France became the stage for one of history's most decisive moments. Charles Martel and his Frankish warriors stood in the way of an unstoppable Muslim force, determined to expand its reach into Western Europe. Clashing in brutal melee combat, the Franks held their ground, repelling wave after wave of cavalry charges. When the battle ended, the Muslim advance had been halted, and Europe remained under Christian rule. A battle that shaped Europe's future. Had the Franks lost at Tours, Europe's religious and cultural landscape might have looked very different. The battle marked the beginning of a centuries-long struggle between Christian and Islamic powers, shaping the Middle Ages. Charles Martel's victory solidified the power of the Frankish kingdom, paving the way for the rise of Charlemagne and the Holy Roman Empire. Tours was not just a battle, it was a turning point for Western civilization. The Battle of Manzikert, 1071 AD, the birth of the Crusades. The Byzantine Empire, once the most powerful force in the East, faced an existential crisis. At Manzikert, the mighty Byzantine army crumbled before the Seljuk Turks, their emperor captured, their forces shattered. This catastrophic defeat opened the gates of Anatolia to Turkish settlement, forever altering the balance of power. The Byzantines, desperate for aid, would soon call upon the West, sparking the First Crusade. The Crusades begin. Manzikert was not just another battle, it was the spark that ignited centuries of holy war. The Byzantine Empire, once dominant, now clung to survival, watching helplessly as its lands slipped away. In response, Pope Urban II called upon Christian knights to reclaim the Holy Land, launching the Crusades. This battle's legacy would shape the religious and political landscape of the medieval world. The Battle of Hastings, 1066 AD, a kingdom reborn. Across the misty fields of England, Norman and Saxon warriors clashed in one of the most decisive battles of medieval history. William the Conqueror, a duke from Normandy, sought to claim the English throne, facing off against King Harold. After hours of fierce fighting, an arrow to Harold's eye sealed his fate, and the Normans emerged victorious. England was forever changed, its language, culture, and monarchy reshaped by Norman rule. The birth of a new England with the Saxon line broken, William enforced a new system of governance, introducing feudalism and reshaping the legal structure. The battle led to the fusion of Anglo-Saxon and Norman cultures, forming the foundation of modern England. The English language itself would evolve, absorbing French words and structures that still exist today. Hastings was not just a battle, it was the birth of a new kingdom. The Battle of Hattin, 1187 AD, the fall of Jerusalem. The scorching desert heat bore down on the exhausted Crusader knights, surrounded by Salah ad-Din's forces, their water supply cut off. They were forced to fight in the unbearable heat, their armor turning into an oven. One by one, the Christian knights fell, and the mighty kingdom of Jerusalem collapsed. The holy city was now in Muslim hands, a moment that would spark the Third Crusade. A clash of faiths. The fall of Jerusalem sent shockwaves through Europe, prompting leaders like Richard the Lionheart to take up the cross and fight back. The Crusades became one of the longest and bloodiest conflicts in history, driven by religious fervor and political ambition. The Battle of Hattin changed the balance of power in the Holy Land, proving that no kingdom, no matter how strong, was safe from war. The echoes of that battle still influence geopolitics and religious tensions today. The Battle of Agincourt, 1415 AAD, the triumph of the longbow. The muddy fields of France became a graveyard for thousands of knights, as English longbowmen shattered the chivalry of France. Outnumbered, exhausted, and stranded in enemy territory, King Henry V's army faced certain doom. But the longbow changed everything. Arrows rained down in deadly waves, piercing through armor, decimating the French ranks. Against all odds, the English won, securing one of the greatest upsets in medieval warfare. The death of chivalry Agincourt proved that valor and nobility meant nothing against superior firepower and tactics. The longbow rendered traditional knights obsolete, signaling the rise of modern battlefield strategy. Henry V's triumph gave England temporary dominance in France, but more importantly, it shattered the old ways of war. From this moment forward, technology, not titles, would decide the fate of nations. The fall of Constantinople, 1453 AD, the end of an era. For over 1,000 years, Constantinople stood as the last bastion of the Roman Empire, its mighty walls repelling countless sieges. But in 1453, the Ottomans arrived with something different: cannons. For weeks, the city trembled under relentless bombardment until its walls crumbled and Sultan Mehmed II's army stormed through. The great Byzantine capital fell, marking the true end of the Roman world, the dawn of the Ottoman Empire. The capture of Constantinople wasn't just the fall of a city, it was the beginning of a new global power. The Ottomans expanded into Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa, shaping world history for the next 400 years. Meanwhile, fleeing Byzantine scholars carried their ancient Greek knowledge to Italy, fueling the Renaissance. The echoes of this battle would reshape both Eastern and Western civilization. The legacy of war. These battles were not just moments of bloodshed, they were turning points that shaped our world. Some led to empires rising, others to their downfall, but all left behind lessons in strategy, resilience, and ambition. From the fields of Marathon to the gates of Constantinople, war has always been the forge of history. The question remains, what great battles still lie ahead? Our journey through time comes to an end for today. We embark on new adventures every week. If you relish the experience, please like and subscribe.